about. Y'all saying DeFi is boring as French fries, but actually we are here to prove you're wrong because Ton has plenty, billions of opportunities to enjoy them. But before we speak about past, present, and the future of the whole ecosystem, let me please introduce the guest. Adam, hi, Eden. Sorry, how are you doing today? I'm so excited because you're very first time as my guest. So, hi,
Mhm.
how are you?
Good. I'm so impressed with your avatar, how it's following you. Is it like following it accurately? Everything you
Yeah,
do?
so everything what I do, like shaking my head and blinking my eyes and even blowing
Jesus.
my cheeks.
Super neat. I gotta get myself one of these.
When it comes to Telegram, like we need new alpha after stickers and Telegram feeds. But
Hmm.
you have been part of Stone 5 for a while, so how it's been? And how did you become a part of it, actually? I kind of missed that story.
Yeah, so my position is I'm head of developer relations. I also run the grant fund. Um, it's coincidentally enough, Artem here, how I got introduced to Ton. I was in Prague, actually in Prague right now, because we're holding a StonFi event that Artem is coming to as well later this evening. But Artem has been in the early days, was always doing the Ton meetups. So it was Artem that got me into Ton, and it was January 2024 when around the time Notcoin was launched. And if you guys maybe know about that, that was the clicker game that got the first kind of onboarded the first users into the Ton ecosystem. That got me like just super interested, that a mini app on Telegram could get that much access to users. So that combination with the technology behind Ton, but also its connection to Telegram. I saw the use case because in the past, a lot of chains were building the infrastructure, but not directly knowing the use case, right? And here, Telegram is the use case, and Ton is building the infrastructure for Telegram. So that was the cool part for me. That really got me into Ton. I then applied to work for StonFi. They accepted me to a position, and here I am, and still loving it.
Still love it, still loving it. I can imagine like Artie going on the street. It's like, hey, Ida, check this out. You can tap the screen, and this is the future. And here, yes, we are tapping the screen of looping, which is kind of a lot of fun and brings a lot of pleasure and also yell. Artie, how are you doing? Have you ever slept since the token of Yellow launch? I mean, like, man, it's been messy in a good way, right?
Hello. Thank you very much for organizing such a great session. So happy to be here. Yeah, EVA launch was a very great success for the ecosystem, and we set up a new standard for the launches. So hope there will be more projects in the ecosystem that can show the similar effect on the ecosystem. So thank you very much.
Yeah, seems like you still didn't have enough of sleep because you're so sure. Speaking of like, how things are going. Speaking of the other guests, we have here one of the most favorite wallets across the ecosystem and on blockchain too, Rostislav. Hi, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Happy to see you and hear you here. Yes, and we're happy to share some updates from Tonkeeper and also from Ton API, because despite the some bad feeling on the market and billions of liquidations, nowadays we can say that Tonkeeper feels confidence, reliability, and control over all the technologies which we're providing for our users and developers both. And we're happy to say that we are growing and we have millions and millions of active users, and Ton will grow anyway, everywhere, and ever.
You entered the room with a bullish mood that we need right now. It's like, why not one yet, right? But speaking of the mood internally on the market, I really want to cover a bit what defines Tom's identity today, because DeFi can be different, right? It can be so beautiful, so touchable. If you never touched it before, please do. But different direction brings you to the different layers, different opportunities, different yield, and different tools. But what is it for you today? Eden, what do you think?
So, go ahead, Roslav.
No. Let's go.
No, you
Sorry.
first. You first.
Okay. Yes. I think if we're talking about opportunities, especially for me and from our team, this is option to make something big, because previously we observed like during the previous 10 years we observed very like obvious cycling, like very obvious um, process of the bear market and bull market. And now we see real mass adoption, which has a lot of proofs. For instance, like adoption by United States governments, Gemini Act, and a lot of different stable coins launched by different governments. And at this moment, crypto becomes mainstream. And here we see like inevitable way for crypto to replace current fiat money, and therefore we are very bullish, and every day we see a very big demand from the traditional players. For instance, a few months ago we started our partnership with the biggest internet provider in Taiwan, Cisco, and they're using our API now on Ton. And this is only early start of the big adoption around big like traditional Web2 companies, and also don't like web companies, but like from real economy. And therefore we are really bullish, and we see that our work help to improve a level of access for different countries, like underbanked countries, to provide them like different opportunities. And I think best option to say about underbanking for Ethan and Artem, because they know a lot about this. Thanks.
I appreciate Rostislav for sharing it. I mean, this is impressive, right? The Townkeeper team has never stopped building in front their doors and the back doors to Ida. Coming back to you, what's your take?
Well, something I want to add on about Townkeeper. I use I'm a DeFi trader, so I play around with other chains. And dealing with MetaMask, the user experience, you have to. There's usually even a signing process after connecting. I usually have errors. One thing I notice in Ton, especially for the DeFi side of things, is the ease of use. The UX experience and speed is much better than a lot of other chains, and that's thanks also to the work from Townkeeper. Even Ava, how they have done the user experience process with their looping is very understandable. I think being easy to use is also an identity that the Ton ecosystem has, and then that access to with Telegram, with the mini apps, so you don't even have to leave the messenger. Is sort of one part of the identity I see as well.
Beautiful. One app and billions of opportunities, isn't it? But speaking of looping, speaking of opening a wallet, and speaking of doing many things on chain, Artie, what's your take on the current state of Ton and where are we heading to?
So answering the question about the current Ton's DeFi identity in the case of EVA, it's definitely the neo-banking path. So now we are trying to be one window for DeFi layer on Ton. So we provide lending, borrowing, we provide swap in one interface. Also, there is a staking, gamification layer on top of on-chain interactions. So all this inside one Telegram mini app. Also, soon we are very actively working on the adding T-Lend loans in our interface that will open the new feature in lending inside Telegram. And this is the way how EVA will develop in the upcoming quarter. So the neo banking is our bet on the what will happen with the DeFi on Ton inside Telegram.
Neo banking, I love that. It's quite interesting concept. Let me also go back to our recent article has been shared online. It's kind of an interesting one, which also having as mentioned to say building Tone DeFi landscape. The DeFi sector now spans token swap, staking, and lending. In early 2024, EVA launched the first lending protocol. By late summer, AIM protocol StoneFi has reached nearly 400 million in liquidity, and today the leader by total value locked is a Tone Stakers protocol. By the way, welcome if you are not staking. So, of course, taking a look at the previous year and the current year, we can see the spike of activity in different matters, right? Another one is quite interesting to share is actually would be transactions per day, right? So I really want to touch that too, if you do not mind. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Oh, it's valid. Sorry, let me change that. It's kind of different. We're gonna touch that too very soon. Hold on. Right, this one, this beautiful 2 million, more than 2 million transactions per day happening on the open network. So, how many of them are coming through StoneFi? I'm really wondering to know.
Yeah, well, there is a good amount coming from StoneFi there. As a DEX, last time I checked, I think we're around 60 to 70% of the transactions, right, for swaps. But if this is just sending transactions, you also got the sort of the gift and NFT hype, right, on Ton. That's probably added to that as well. What I recall too, I think it was Pavel Durov was on Lex Friedman and mentioned how Ton is number one right now when it comes to NFTs and those buying in marketplaces there. So there's a combination of both, I would say.
Indeed, combination of both, and both are bringing a lot of value to the ecosystem. Speaking of the more DeFi financial layers, so I really have a question to Artie because I know he's a bit in a rush, so I'm going to pull over my questions first to him. So can we actually say that looping is reshaping how the yield is generated on Tone and the whole infrastructure and the whole user flow, how it goes smoothly? And yet, what's your take on that?
So I definitely think that looping is one of the basic mechanic that opened by DeFi, and through this, general user can accumulate yield up to 3 times for their basic deposit. And until EVA introduced looping with Ton stakers, with a Storm Trade, with a StoneFi. So it was not possible to achieve such high APY on-chain, on Ton, and with EVA and integration with all the top protocols, we already have it on the Ton inside the Telegram or the simple steps. So here on the screen, you can see the special interface dedicated to looping with the Ton stakers, where you can reuse your liquidity that already work in the Ton stakers and generate your basic yield as a collateral to borrow more Ton and reuse it in the Ton stakers again. So it's a great mechanics. It's very unique for DeFi itself, comparable to traditional finances. So it's great that we have this mechanic here, and soon with the TGBTC we'll have like new types of looping on Ton, and I think it's great that we've already built it. And on top of that, other developers can build, let's say, DeFi 2.0 solution using the looping as one of the base for their more sophisticated, complex strategies.
Oh, you touched a quite good part. TGBTC coming. We are all waiting for it. It's like, man, I see the charts coming and saying, where is it coming? But anyways, touching TGBTC layer, we can also speak about the invisible DeFi infrastructure. Just for the reference, like if you guys do not know what invisible blockchain is, it's actually like when you don't really realize you're using a blockchain technology or you sign in a wallet. For example, when you go to your Tonekeeper, you're staking with Tone stakers and you actually do not know that you're doing that with the Tone stakers protocol. Or when you go and you do the swapping, you actually do it through this ToneFi protocol, and same for the looping and much more. But there is much more to build. much more to bring to 1 billion ecosystem. What's your take on invisible infrastructure? Adam, as a head of developer relationships, I should ask you first.
Yeah. So, with with DeFi, you see, TON is a proof of stake, right? With validators that generate yield. You then have DEXs like StonFi with pools that you can generate yield. This is, the financial freedom of DeFi, where anyone can build. Code is freedom of speech, and anyone can access. And so, building when you can build here, it's finding ways to and even innovations to utilize these approaches to yield. And you see the looping mechanism for lending that Artem was talking about. That is, building on top of these yield structures. For StonFi, we have OmniSton protocol. So think of all the dexes in TON. You have DDoS, TONCO, Swap Coffee Dex, our Dex. We built OmniSton that actually aggregates those dexes. So it builds routes and finds the best price, the best liquidity according to which dex in which pairs, right? And so before, when you had to, as a builder, you had to integrate, especially to utilize yield from pools with your concept, you had to integrate each dex. But now you have the opportunity to just integrate directly OmniSton as a developer for your DeFi concept. So that's kind of like the tools that you can use. And then obviously you'll need, Connect wallet, right? So that when you're using your Timekeeper wallet, those your users can come on to activate your DeFi protocol that you built. So yeah, that's like a good example of one tool that developers can leverage, to build a protocol the hidden code behind everything, right?
What's your take about that, Rostislav? I know you look like you have built in something very unique meanwhile speaking to us.
Yes, so I completely agree with Ethan because I think example of StoneFi it's very great example how develop in the same time user-oriented product, very friendly for users. Because how we talked with a few months ago with Slavic, if you consider, for instance, one of the most popular ways of relatively secure and relatively sustainable profitable staking of stablecoins on Athena, if you could compare Athena original interface on Ethereum and interface provided by StoneFi, it's comparison between Middle Ages and world of the future with shining buildings and high level of ecology and high level of the human rights. It's totally different because in case of the StoneFi user flow, you can make it very fast. And at the same time, launch of the OmniStone, and I hope some updates soon, allows for us provide for different developers something very easy to integrate in their own products. I think this compatibility with potential with every Web3 product is the key. Is the same of the Telegram. It's generic approach based on the idea of the total adoption around the billions. It's the same idea behind the StoneFi and EVA and Timekeeper itself. And at this moment, from our side, we're trying to provide for developers a very easy way to launch their own products. And we observed that some guys trying to launch their own product in individual indie business or team of the 2 or 3 people, very small teams, they can launch sustainable and scalable product using Ton API in a few days and check their ideas. And at this moment, potential of Ton API is definitely undervalued and this moment, we're observing more than 5,000 different projects implemented on this API. Also, sometimes it's like projects working not for the big audience, but internally for big companies. How previously I mentioned Cisco from Taiwan, and we are very proud to observe this. It's not institutional yet, but it's adoption by giant companies with multi-billion budgets. And for us, this is a sign of the right direction. But our main goal is to provide for builders trying to do something from scratch in Telegram easy way to access to Ton blockchain without very sophisticated development on the blockchain itself, because Ton API allows for every developer operating on the HTTP protocol and understanding how it works post and get requests, communication between users, browser, and server, build things on Ton. It's very important, and it can be implemented in different manners for small bots, for big mini apps, and scalability of this solution. It's the same strategy, idea presented on the white paper of the Ton blockchain, where Nikolai Durov said that Ton blockchain, it's like blockchain of blockchains with infinite sharding, with option to scale on the huge number of users. And Ton API allows this success. We say welcome for every person and every team who want to start their way on the Ton, and this is feasible in a few days. Build something from scratch with us. So I'm happy to say hello for every developer starting onboarding into Ton ecosystem.
Hello, every developer. If you're not building yet, very welcome to joining, because there's tons of opportunities, and Ton API is the best part to start with. And the good part of it, Tonkeeper team can help you to build on it. They have plenty of information how to do so. Plenty of the workshops have been hosted and about to host, so do not miss that alpha. But let me come back a little bit to the invisible blockchain. RT, I also want to ask you some questions. So we have been talking about invisible blockchain previously, but another interesting part is also how right now AI is working, because right now AI is taking a visibility mark. So it's actionability to your product and what you're building in terms of how much AI can notice you. And based on the recent research, you can guys also Google it for anyone who listen online or a record. You can find that StoneFi, Yeva, Ton Stickers, Tonkeeper are among top of the protocols that very visible to AI to find any kind of relevant information. So the question is quite interesting to RT. How do you think DeFi is going to be changed with the cocoon stuff that is coming very soon?
So definitely, I think the AI is a big part of the adoption of the DeFi to the mass market retail auditory. Why? Because already today there is projects on the different stages that provide text to on-chain action features. So for example, already on Ton, there is one project through that you can type the strategy you want to do, like supply, borrow, provide the liquidity, and then the backend of this service will sign the transactions and interact with the protocol. So basically, you as a user delegate all complicated stuff, interaction with the protocols, learning new interfaces on the AI. So this is the first part. Or the first big use case there, people basically delegate their on-chain interactions on the agents. The second one is automation of the voting inside the DAO. So today we have the big movement on the Ton in the DeFi sector. So StoneFi, EVA actively working on the DAO for the protocols, and soon I think we will see more use cases. So there's already XDAO on Ton that comes from EVM ecosystems, and soon I hope we will have seen more DAOs on the DeFi scene. And generally, when you have big amount of DAOs you participate, your level of involvement in the voting going to decrease. And this is the big problem, that a lot of DAO questions don't achieve a requested level of consensus of the community to execute the proposals, etc. And I think the delegation of the voting processes on the agent, also the big part of the AI in DeFi, or AI and the Web3 in general. And the last big part for sure is the automation of the customer support, because today we have seen the big problem of the Web3 in general, the low level of customer support comparable to the current Web2 fintech. There's the big companies can have the big support teams that work with the customers, help them go through the basic user flows. And on Web3, typically the customer support is limited by the support in the chats, where like 4-5 people from the customer support team works with the thousands, with the hundreds and thousands of the requests to help people to understand which button they should click, how sign the transaction, etc., etc., etc. And especially in the strategies that request multiple steps and multiple interactions between different apps, for example, as looping. And this is another big part for AI and the Web3, as I think. So guys, what do you think about this?
Yeah, you had me thinking. So when Cocoon launches, for me, from what I know, I haven't learned too much yet. They didn't give, Pavel in his presentation give too much information, but I think we're gonna, once this is launched and this this decentralized infrastructure for AI, I think we're gonna be able to see what use cases can be utilized right through this. One thing I was thinking from your first part, Artem, you mentioned about like a bot, an AI bot, basically supporting your strategies and doing the transactions on your behalf for speed. You look at the, it's even on Dune Analytics, you can see the TON trading bots, right? People use TON trading bots for speed of swaps. That means they don't have to confirm every transaction. And this is used to, the concept of sniping. This is used for, being quick as a user. And so I can almost imagine these TON trading bots implementing AI to be even quicker, right? And I've tested actually this. There was a concept of doing yield strategies with AI on Solana, where unfortunately the project never ended up taking off because they didn't get investment. But it's the state of the market. But it was quite interesting to prompt and basically say, hey, I want you to make sure to, when this token goes up 10%, to sell. If it goes down 10% after that, I want you to buy, keep this strategy running for 6 months. Or I want you to make, I can command it to do 3x looping with TON USDT pool. There's these way to communicate that way instead of manually doing it. But right now, it's really hard to say. I think the real strong use cases are going to appear, and we really don't know yet, but there is something behind it.
There is something behind it for sure. So I'm looking forward to see what's coming next. We are about to wrap the session, but we do have a question from the community coming back to what Rostislav said regarding TON API and much more. So the question is, maybe better to save time and wait for better conditions on the market before you build something and present the new futures, or the time is just enough and right, Rostislav?
Yes, so first about the mentioned AI talk. I think AI, potential collaboration of AI and blockchain, especially for Ton blockchain, because it's the same like technologies, or if we're considering level of adoption, like Telegram and DI, they have I think the same number of users, and therefore compatibility is feasible. But it's definitely underestimated, because at this moment we see that it's not a lot of like AI-based applications, and potential use cases also like revealed during the different like product tests and implementation of different assumptions. But we have all the conditions to do this, and definitely it not only like AI agents in the like most mainstream understanding, but I think it can be ways to minimize like friction during the, for instance, user onboarding, and choice of different strategies of investing in crypto, for instance. AI allows aggregate ways, for instance, to yield, for instance, EVA can be also presented in different AI platforms, and in this case, AI can be considered like additional distribution channel for all solutions presented on the Ton blockchain. And especially, yes, about Ton API, we also already implemented some AI solutions. For instance, you can use on the Ton console our dashboard, which allows connector for different TonKeeper and Ton API products. From the business perspective, you can use our AI tool connected to SQL database of Ton API, which allows to interact with human reading prompts with Ton blockchain. You can use it in different scenarios. For instance, if you need check some data and collect some analytical information about a bunch of accounts or one account, it's very usable and can be used in different products.
Thank you. That was quite fascinating answers and great opinions shared. We are about to wrap up the session, but before we do so, I really love to capture the moment of a present, taking a look at the moment in the future. So, in your opinion, how Tone DeFi is going to look like in 2026? I mean, 2025? Yeah, 26. So, gentlemen, what's your take on that? How are you going to be? How is the future looking like? For sure, for me, it's looking bright and beautiful, but yet maybe you do have a little bit different perspective. Eden, can I ask you?
You want me to go?
Of course.
So, I think we're definitely in a stage where DeFi is catching up. Just the scalability factor with Ton ecosystem, with the sharding infrastructure. It's very elegant, but also it takes a little bit more time for developers to build DeFi protocols on it. So I see definitely in 2026 it's going to become much more mature, right? And through that being more mature, you'll see more user activity. More user activity brings more yield to the ecosystem. So I do see us sort of the DeFi layer. You'll have concentrated liquidity coming up. We have our own little bit of a secret sauce. Can't tell much about it right now for you, but we have our own V3 coming up in 2026 that is quite innovative. So that we call it alternative instead of concentrated, but and cross-chain is also on the map, definitely with the StonFi side, where we're building that first one between Tron and Ton, choosing Tron because of the activity with USDT. So we have those functions coming up with StonFi. But I also envision, this is just more broader, I like the idea of SocialFi and GameFi taking off in Ton. I mean, Telegram is a social messenger. The access for GameFi with the mini apps brings it quite interesting. So I would like to see innovations coming from that, just because of the connection with Telegram. And so I can also see that coming up and about, and especially, with GIFs, with NFTs, the next generation of that could be very interesting with GameFi. I know on our end with StonFi, we're going to be making DeFi fully mature in 2026. But I also would like to hear what others think.
By the way, there are already so many, not many and not a lot, but there are plenty of GameFi applications you can try through Telegram using Telegram gifts and stickers. And some of them already even implementing DeFi, which is cool to have. Artie, what's your take on 2026 if aliens are not coming to Earth in 2 months?
So definitely, I hope to see more projects, more new teams that gonna utilize EVA infrastructure for our SDK to build new use cases using basic lending and borrow DeFi blocks for their sophisticated strategies. On other hand, I think that 2026 for Ton in general will be year of the TGBTC adoption. So definitely we will see the new liquidity that bring to Ton DeFi through the TGBTC bridge. And as well, from the EVA perspective, we will see in 2026 the EVA card that basically will cover and do what we already spoke regarding the invisible DeFi. So this will be the answer of the EVA on this topic. So debit card that cover crypto yield based on the lending and borrowing under the hood, and that will be the retail mass adoption case. So you need to understand the DeFi and the lending and borrowing math to generate yield, and that just spend your profit from the debit card as you're already familiar with your like normal Web2 debit card. So this is what we are waiting in 2026. So, and thank you for organizing such a great session today.
Thank you for joining in. I cannot wait to actually. So, okay, I'm imagining I have my nice phone coming in a nice phone case, like a road where I put my yellow card and then I go ting, ting, ting. And then if I need, I just go to StonFi and then Tonkeeper and then Ton Stakers. Wow, the future is so nice. And speaking of Tonkeeper, Rostislav, what's your take on 2026 and DeFi?
First, I should because I should remind that you can easily interact with EVA, Ton Stakers, and obviously with StonFi using Tonkeeper. So in this sense, Tonkeepers becomes super app for crypto, where you can interact with most popular protocols, swap tokens, and also use staking very fast. And that's its most important. It's very safe. So we are open source wallet, and you can observe our source code on GitHub, which creates a high level of the confidence for all the our users and like big whales using Tonkeeper. When we're talking about 2026, I'm very bullish, and it doesn't matter like all the climate on the overall crypto market for us. So scary at all about the current like liquidations and all the stuff. Why? Because our main idea for the next year and for the next 12 months, it's massive adoption. It's not it's massive because it divided on the 3 directions. First direction, it's account abstraction, very big trend, and obviously we will make some updates about this because at this moment we observing a big retail demand for the crypto. So for instance, this morning my old good friend from the like totally different sphere, not from crypto, he told me, hey, I want to buy some Ton. And how I can use crypto wallet. Like, some like friend-to-friend, mouth-to-mouth onboarding. And for this, we should simplify onboarding. It's the first direction. Second direction, it's most popular trend of the mass crypto adoption. I think also in this is stable coins, and at this moment we're trying to support not only USDT but also stable coins, like one of the most popular USDT on TRX, and we allow for us pay for USDT on TRX for commission during the transactions with TON, and this creates very interesting trick from our side that we definitely should provide accessibility for all the most popular stable coins on the crypto market, but from a scenario we should find a way to pay transaction fee seamlessly with TON coin, and this creates new level of the demand for TON coin itself. And third direction, it's obviously and start of Cocoon. It's very big I think startup, which creates additional level of adoption of the TON coin itself and for all the Telegram ecosystem. And we wait our talented developers, or maybe it's some developers now at this moment listening to this stream, and we hope that we will observe for new stars on this shining sky of the AI projects related to the TON blockchain, and we will be happy to help them during the mass adoption.
Let it be so. So if you are very new to TON and you do not know how to buy it, very welcome to explore TON Keeper and wallet opportunities on Telegram and much more. Of course, it's not a promo. You can find any other possible opportunities. Just Google them or ask your AI assistant, maybe soon on Cocoon. And if you already have your TON, maybe you can use it very smart, exploring the opportunities with yield, staking it, and holding it smart, or you putting them on yellow, or even go and try out some meme coins on StoneFi, because meme coin season is coming. So let's see what is going to bring us. And yet, big contributor for each of the protocol. Explore the opportunities because there are billions of them. And if you do not try, you're going to be dead anyway. So why not to try? Why not to test it out? Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Looking forward to 2026. Let's bring DeFi to the next level and yet stay staked.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. See you.